Good evening and welcome to the Institute of Immutable Laws. Today I will be covering the case of Angie Stone. She was born August 18th, 1961. Okay, very popular R&B musician. I personally listened to her a lot over the years, and her music still kind of hits my soul, I would say. And if you're familiar with her music, or if you're not, then I suggest listening to some of her stuff. She was just an amazing artist, okay? So I'm doing this case coverage to gain some understanding as to what may have been taking place behind the scenes of her case. I know outside of what they, the news covered and what we already know so far, but what I like to do, or at least what I'm starting to do, is just to take another angle and zero in on any information that may be helpful towards towards her case investigation, and to see if there's any other details that may not have been expounded on. Okay? All right. So before I begin, I just want to give a disclaimer, like I usually do with these types of readings specifically. Everything that I cover here on my channel is solely based on interpretation and what shows up in the spread, okay? All right, which means that energy is always apt to change. Nothing stays the same. This is just pretty much to just gain a better understanding of things, and so that while interpretation is taking place, we can look at other angles, okay, more closely. All right, so let's see. What I'm picking up already so far is that I'm getting that she was short-staffed, okay, and I'm getting something about a clothing designer specifically, or something about a clothing design or a designer that she may have been working with at the time. I'm also picking up this energy of tax exemption, so with all that is coming through, I do feel like it may have played a role in the circumstances. Something not being taxed, or something being tax exempt. So she could have had a situation where something was tax exempt. It could have been a form. It could have been someone that she hired to be a designer. There's something going on tax exemption related to that individual. Okay. 1 second. All right. Okay. And then I was also picking up the designer, so that's really important as well. I don't know if it's a specific person. I'm actually getting this vision of an individual. It feels like, I'm going to say, it's a man, someone that's wearing like black clothing. Leather, to be specific. That's the image that I'm kind of picking up right now. Is an individual that's wearing black, like someone that liked to wear black a lot, and it feels like a man. So I feel like she probably could have had a few people that may have been designers around her at the time. One of them particularly is a man, and they like to wear black and black leather. I don't know if this is kind of gearing me towards their sexuality. So this individual is kind of coming across as someone who may have been fluid, a very fluid individual that wasn't a designer that she was working with at the time. Okay, all right. Something is important about this person, but I'm going to pull up the spread to see what we can get here. I went right back. This card was already underneath, and I didn't even shuffle before. But if you saw, it was already there, and I shuffled 10 times, and it came right back to the position that it's in right now. The Nine of Gain is underneath. Okay. Her sign, that was August. No, sorry, December 18th. So Sagittarian energy. The Nine of Pentacles is underneath. Nine of Gain, it could be financial situations. Typically when we see nines, we think of, like I always say, nines are like that energy that's coming in, like a paycheck that we're waiting for, whether it's a digital paycheck or like it's I'm actually getting like an invoice. So there's an invoice that she either put together herself, or she had somebody put together, like a media executive, some type of executive that she had that was working with her, put together an invoice for her, is what I'm getting. And it keeps taking me back to that idea of being short-staffed. I don't know why it's coming through a lot for some reason. It feels like I'm trying to interpret it. So let me think of the different ways of a reason that this could be coming through. Needing to have an invoice. Like typically when we have invoices, or when we're creating them, people need them for tax purposes. They need them to file with the IRS. And in some cases, if you're running a business, whether you are a sole proprietor or you're working with a team, it's important to have a record of your receipts or your invoices here as well. So the idea of being short-staffed, I don't know if it's separate or if it's connected, but the idea of being short-staffed is that if there can be an issue where she did have staff members and they may have been requesting invoices from her or this executive that she had that was working on her team, and something is giving me this idea that something was misspelled. So it could have been her name, or the name of a company, the name of a group, the name of a designer, or the name of someone on her team. Somebody misspelled something on an invoice, to be specific, or a tax form. Like I was getting that tax exemption from earlier, related to the taxes. Or is a situation when you're dealing with invoices, the invoices need to be taxed, or you're needing to send those invoices so that you can file taxes with them, if that makes any sense. But it feels like it's related to, there may have been an issue where she might have been short-staffed, and there's an issue with the distribution of something distribution related, and also invoices, or the misspelling of someone's name. So whether that be an executive's name, her name, or the name of a designer or someone on her team, and something's going on with filing, needing to have the invoice on record to file it, if that makes any sense. Okay. And something happened with that. The starting point has the Queen of Sword energy. All right. So this is an air sign. They don't have to fit this description. So this is a Libra, Gemini, or an Aquarian female, or someone that's embodying this. She could have been embodying this energy here, and they don't have to be white. They could have been a light-skinned individual. This could be someone who, I'm getting this idea, someone that may have been on her team, with the Queen of Swords being in the starting point. Okay. This person, whoever they are, I feel like may have been requesting documents from her, and there could have been an issue with the misspelling of a name on her end, if that makes any sense. Like she could have been requesting documents, and Angie herself, or this individual, if they're separate, may have been requesting some type of documentation related to a tax form or relating to an invoice. And she pulled Angie to the side, or she had a discussion with Angie about, okay, well, I'm looking at this invoice and I'm noticing that my last name or my first name is misspelled here. And that may have caused an issue with this individual, right? I'm also getting this feeling that however, I don't know how many people, how many air sign females, she could have been dealing with many air sign females or someone that's embodying this. This person, they were not, one of them were not originally on her team. So that's why from the beginning I was getting this idea of being short staffed. And this person, one of them could have been someone that she brought in to hold somebody else's spot that was originally on her team. So I feel like this person may have been a placeholder for an original designer, an original hairstylist, an original cosmetologist of some kind, and they kind of came in and stood in place of that person, if that makes any sense, right? With the Queen of Swords. And it's also giving me this feeling that they weren't pleased. Like they weren't pleased, or something was displeasing to them about how business ran, or like about how her team, how Angie's team ran business. Like there may have been an issue with how things were distributed. There may have been an issue with being punctual and doing things in a timely fashion with this person. So before I move any further, what I'm feeling is that this individual, they were meant to be temporarily on her team. Like I feel like one of them, or however many of them, they were kind of meant to be standing in place for someone who was originally on her team. That I don't know if that person was out sick, or I don't know if they quit. I don't know what the issue was with that other individual, but they're stepping in temporarily to do something for her. And they're explaining to her that, I'm displeased with the fact that I'm receiving an invoice and my name is misspelled on the invoice. And now I need to now we need to go back in to the system and create another invoice with the proper pricing, with my name spelled on it correctly, this, that, and the third, right? I do get this level of annoyance with this Queen of Swords. Something was annoying about them, or they were annoyed by some type of process that was taking place. Because I feel like how they're coming off is that they're coming off as a very inconvenienced person, if that makes any sense, okay? I don't know if something about them was an inconvenience. That could have been a scenario. The waiting position has the Three of Cups, the Three of Abundance, all right? So typically when we see this card, we think about celebration, we think about parties, we think about drinking and hanging out and having a really good time, okay? I'm looking at the Three of Cups and I'm getting this feeling of splitting a bill. It's Cups energy. It doesn't have to do, it could be water sign, could have been involved in the situation. But if I look at these two with this Queen of Swords and the Three of Cups, and an idea of splitting a bill, she could have been hanging out with this person too, right? And I'm feeling like it may have been a wrong move to invite this person out. I don't know if this person invited her out and that was a wrong move, vice versa, whatever the situation is, because there's this issue that I'm picking up on of mixing business with pleasure, and that may have been a wrong move. Someone could have pulled her aside, like a best friend, another person on her team, some type of partner could have pulled her to the side and say, I don't think you want to have her that close like that. I don't think you want her to be that involved with some type of financial affair. If you already had issues with her and she already came to you and said that she's got issues with invoices, or she's got issues with timeliness and how you're running business here, I don't know if it's a good idea to have her that close right now. So I feel like there's another friend involved that isn't showing up here yet, but they will. Another friend that's involved that pulled Angie to the side and had that conversation about a Queen of Swords. Or that same person could have had that conversation with her. I feel like this person is in the middle of it somehow. The displeased is in the middle of that conversation, and it's through dinner, or it's through some type of outing that they were going on. Could have been one of the performances. You're traveling with a team of people, and you're performing, and you're also going out, and you're stopping to have a couple of drinks, and you're eating with your team and the people that you're supporting. Right? But this individual, or whoever they are, they had a really interesting issue. And I'm also getting this idea of comprehension. Like, this person had something that's comprehension related with them, and they may not have had an easy time. I mean, well, who does? You're doing business, but they may have had a difficult time comprehending something that she was trying to explain. Okay? I don't know how long. I'm looking at it as up until, this is just behind the scenes of what may have been taking place interpretive wise. The Chariot is here, which is a sign of Cancer. Okay, so far the signs that I'm seeing, I'm also getting a Pisces. There's some water here, and I'm seeing a Cancer, and there's an air sign so far. All right, the Chariot, of course, we know what the Chariot has to do with travel and driving and cars. I don't know if it rained one of those days, but the Chariot is in the present. And I'm getting something about a vehicle. So there's a specific vehicle that I'm feeling like this group, like this could have been like a while before they started talking about anything. But there is something specific that is coming through here about a vehicle, to be specific. Okay? Maybe the size of a vehicle, the shape of it, the functionality of a vehicle, the cost, the renting of a vehicle. Okay, there could have been multiple vehicles. Like, I feel like she was touring. She did multiple tours with her team, and there may have, right when I said that, the fact that she was doing multiple tours around, like, this year, last year, however long, she went through multiple vehicles with her team, and meaning that is also giving me this idea of insurance. Like, there may have been a vehicle that may not have been, the vehicle may have been too expensive, and that could have had something to do with the size of it, the size, the weight of it, the duration of time that she may have needed the vehicle to transport herself and everybody in it as well. So insurance became an issue. Now it's kind of taking me back to this idea of an executive. So one of these individuals here could be showing up like the energy of an executive, someone that was in charge, like a manager, someone that was in charge of managing her temporarily. They're sitting in for someone who's supposed to be mainly there, or they're temporarily helping her organize and get things done. And I do feel like they played a part in. I'm also getting tampering when I'm looking at the Queen of Swords. Somebody did tamper. And I feel like the tampering aspect is connected to something going on with a vehicle or an invoice. I don't know if this is like an invoice for a vehicle. That could have been another situation. An invoice for a vehicle. Or an invoice for a service of some kind. But they're responsible for overseeing that. Or one of them are. One individual here is responsible for overseeing that. I'm also getting this feeling of, like, I feel like she could have been having a discussion with someone. Like, I'm not sure if I want to go with that one, or I'm not sure if I want to take up this deal. I'm not sure if I want to go with her. I'm not sure if I want to get this car. I'm not sure if I want to get this van, whatever the scenario is, or go here if it's a location that this group traveled to. All right, I'm gonna move on. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. The Hangman. I knew there was a Pisces that was gonna show up here. That's the Pisces in the future, but it's Hangman energy. The Instincts has the Princess of Cups. Okay, so the Princess of Cups is there. Like I always say, anything that shows up at the top is the mental space. Anything below you're dealing with is the foundation. You have the mental space, thought process, thought section, and foundational, solid section at the bottom. Things that are kind of just moving their way into the forefront in terms of information. But the Princess of Cups is here. So anytime we see the Princess of Cups, this is like we think about emotional offers, and it does say the costume designer at the bottom. And we have somebody, if you look at the imagery, you have a young lady here, and she's a seamstress, and she's customizing clothes. If you look in the corner, there's also a drink. So this could be a situation. It's telling me something about someone that she hired, that, like I was picking up from before, I was getting this idea of a designer. There was an energy of a designer that was coming through that made a lot of noise about her. Princess of Cups. That's what I'm getting. They made a lot of noise about her, about Angie. And making a lot of noise in the metaphorical sense, I'm getting this feeling of social etiquette, Three of Cups. And then also situations going on with vehicles and invoices, and having issues with somebody misspelling somebody's name on an invoice. So before I move any further, what this seems like to me, so that it's coming through clear, because there's a lot to interpret already so far. It sounds like from the beginning I was getting a designer. Like there was a designer, there's one male designer that I was picking up on. I don't know, that individual could have been a water sign. Look up the signs that I'm seeing right now. I see Pisces, I see Cancer, and you have a Queen of Swords, which is like an air sign female. She could have been embodying that, or this is somebody separate that was having, they're temporarily there. Like they're working with her temporarily, or they were meant to be sitting in place for someone that was not there for some reason. And they're responsible for they're looking over invoices, or Angie herself gave this individual an invoice that had a misspelled name on it. Something was wrong with an invoice that someone needed for taxes. Then there's also this element of going out with these individuals, and there was this feeling I was getting where she shouldn't have went out with somebody like this. I don't know if either is this person or Princess of Cups, or that's just an emotional offer that's coming through from someone about going out with someone that maybe she shouldn't have went out with, because something happened there communication wise, or someone could have been drinking and they were talking a lot, like they were saying a lot about her business. They were talking about I'm also getting mishaps, like they talked about her mishaps like openly in like a restaurant space or in a car, in a van. And there were these issues that were happening pertaining to a car or a van, like the size of it and the insurance and paying it on time and getting invoices issued with corrections. So they could have been responsible for that. Or she could have had multiple conversations with this individual about organizational skills and being on top of that. With the Princess of Cups being in the instincts, right? The Princess of Cups is also giving me this feeling of an apology that either was coming towards Angie from this person or vice versa, because it's in her headspace. So I'm thinking that maybe she was the one that wanted to apologize to someone for some type of mishap, and maybe they didn't handle that mishap very well. They could have talked to other team members about the fact that they thought that Angie didn't handle some type of issue very well, or it's a vice versa situation. Okay, so whether that be pertaining to some type of insurance with a car, or an invoice, or needing an invoice for IRS tax filing. Okay, the Tower is here, sign of Scorpio. So there's a lot of signs here. I'm seeing Scorpio and Cancer and Queen of Swords and Pisces. The Tower next to the Queen of Swords. And I'm getting this idea of a lie that's right next to them. The Tower, we know that the Tower has to do with energy that's coming through that we can't really avoid. So the lie energy is right next to the Queen of Swords, which means that it's giving me this feeling that maybe they lied. they could have lied. They could have lied about something that they received that Angie gave them. And they said that they could have said that there was a mistake on an invoice, but maybe there wasn't. And I'm getting this feeling like I was sure. Like this person is like, I was sure that my name was misspelled. I was sure that this insurance document was duplicated, or there was an issue with this insurance document. I was 100% sure that there was something needed to be corrected here. Something needed to be corrected. So I feel like before I move any further, what the energy that this is also giving me is that this individual, whoever it is that's coming through here, I'm looking on this side a lot, and I feel like someone that she had really close to her, like it's a female energy. I was picking up a male also, but I feel like the male was more of a person that may have been safeguarding Angie in terms of information coming towards her. Someone that she had that expressed great disapproval for what she had going on and how she ran it, the organization of it. Someone that expressed great disapproval. This person, one, they wanted to come through and apologize, or it's a vice versa. Or there's a situation where they made a mistake, and they, like the fact that they made a mistake, possibly, it's almost like they didn't want to live up to the fact that they did. And then I get hot water when I said that, and it put them in hot water, basically. That's why the tower is right next to them. And then another element of the hot water, because the tower is major, the hot water aspect is the fact that they also did something really extreme with, it's giving me that idea. They could have done something really extreme with information, and it turned into a much bigger issue behind the scenes. So whether that was known or unknown, I get a scam. Something was scammed, like about a Queen of Sword energy. Something was a scam with them. So scam in the sense where I don't know if they felt scammed. That's one situation. Another idea of being scammed could be that I don't know if they scammed her. They could have scammed her. The scamming aspect could be saying that, okay, you gave me this invoice. You had me come to do this service for you, to sit in for whoever you had that was missing. You needed me to come in and design. You needed me to come in and do and manage this paperwork, this documentation, duty to print out this, that, and the third. And they could have said that, oh, this was missing, or this document was missing, but maybe it could have been, or maybe another element of it wasn't. And that's why I was getting the towers kind of giving this idea of a lie. Like they lied to some degree. I also get this feeling to get back at her. Like they tried to get back at her. 3 of Cups is like gossip too. If it's not only going out. I feel like it was a mistake that she took them out. I feel like at one point she did. Like she partied with them. She did something with them before she found out that something was shady about them. Or that they lied with the tower. They lied. And she didn't know. Or they tried to tell Angie that, okay, well, you're missing something here. And they could have made, this is crazy. The one element of this is coming through is craziness already. And I'm halfway through, but I'm not halfway through. Let me take my time with this. Let me just give an example of an interpretation before I move any further to collect myself. This one individual, a woman that she had on her team that came in temporarily to do some type of service for her. I don't, man, woman, it feels like a woman with the Queen of Swords next to the tower. This individual came in, and I feel like they either stole or she had them there to do some type of service for her that required Angie to give the woman an invoice of some kind, like some type of documentation. And the documentation this woman is saying is wrong, or something's missing from the documentation, is what she is trying to tell her. Something's missing from that documentation. The Tower is like, that's a lie. That's a lie. So Angie said to this woman that one conversation could have been, I gave you all the documents that you requested. I gave you all the paperwork to fill out. And the woman is like, I'm missing one. I didn't sign that one, or you didn't sign that one. So there's this tower of a back and forth communication where this woman is telling Angie that she's wrong and she's lying. I don't know if Angie said that or that she said that to her. It feels like there's an argument that ensued between her and this woman, or man, or both, or just, it's giving me the feeling of a woman she was arguing back and forth with about insurances for cars, about executive responsibilities, about designing. I don't know if it's a designer, but it feels more so like someone that's responsible, that may have been responsible for handling really critical documentation. They messed up, or they messed up something and they lied because they did, and they tried to cover themselves. They try to cover themselves. So the travel in the present, Angie could have been going to kind of fix as well. Like, I feel like at one point she needed to travel to go fix what this person did that ended up causing like a massive financial issue. That's why the 9 of Pentacles is underneath too. It has to do with money and IRS and a tax issue. She had to go figure out how to fix those issues for someone that made a mistake. But another point of this also is, when I said mistake, it wasn't intentional that the mistake was made. So I'm feeling like Angie most likely did not. She either knew that it was not intentional that this individual made this mistake, or she could have done something like this herself and it cost somebody, or the fact that another interpretation is that this individual, something was also scam related to them. So Angie could have been thinking that the woman was trying to scam her, but I'm also getting this element that it was not intentional, either on Angie's end or this woman, or the woman. And the Princess of Cups is like, Angie's thinking, I need to go apologize, or she's thinking the woman or somebody is going to come towards her to apologize or clear something up, and they didn't, or she didn't, or she these colors right here, like the Chariot, the Princess of Cups, and the Hangman, these are matching. There's matching colors in these cards, and you can't really see it's purple. And when we see purple, we're dealing with intuition. We're dealing with intuition. The intuition to travel, to go handle an issue. The intuition, I also get confront. The issue to go confront someone is also showing up here, because the Queen of Swords also has a little purple in the bottom. See, I don't know if this is a white woman or not. She could have been dealing with a white woman as well. She could have been dealing with a white woman, like somebody that's like a financial, like someone that is like an accountant. I don't know. Someone like an accountant, like an executive of some kind. She could have been dealing with. And she's thinking that she needs to go travel to confront this woman for a scam, for some type of a stolen document, something that the woman is saying that I'll give you a scenario. I get a call, and I'm sending in some important documentation to start a business, for example, and I find a lawyer to handle my paperwork for me. They're telling me that I'm missing my birth certificate, and they can't take the copy that I gave them. So they need the official copy. This is just an example of what type of communication may have been going back and forth between her and this woman, right? I don't have it, I don't have the actual copy on me. I will send you. So that could have been Angie's voice to that woman, or that's the woman's voice to Angie. So now what's happening here? Somebody's lying. So the woman is lying. That's what Angie may have been thinking that she was. I don't know. And another scenario is she's thinking it's a scam, it's either a scam or it's not a scam. I keep getting hot water, and it's when I'm saying that is giving me an idea of hot water. Hot water. It put Angie in hot water, or the woman ended up in hot water, because the woman could have had her own team. Is what I'm leaning towards. The woman could have had her own team of people overseeing what Angie had going on. So it feels like if I have a business and I have somebody coming in to do a special service for me, that individual has their own firm. Whether it's insurance, this executive, designer, whatever the special service is, a seamstress, a cook, a chef, whatever. They have their own team. And the team, that separate team is backing their staff member. Or something happened with another staff member or another coworker or a friend to this woman, and that person messed up, and whatever they did messed her communication up with Angie. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on there that took me through a rabbit hole just now. Okay? All right. Let me move to the spiritual self. The strength. Sign of Leo. So there's a lot of signs here. Leo, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, air sign female. Strength is her spiritual self. She was a spiritual person, or I don't know if she was religious or not, but she was a spiritual person. And the strength right next to the Three of Cups is the fact that I'm also getting this feeling of there was a party, or there was the outing that she went on at some point that she may have been thinking she should not have went on. Something is important about that to say. Like there was an outing that she went on that she shouldn't have went on. The 3 is also March. You know, the 3 is also March. And I do feel the 3 of Cups and the strength is giving me a health issue that she could have had. And that could be why, she could have, I don't know if she was a wine drinker. She could have had a few indulgences in certain things that she could have been telling herself not to do because of an underlying health issue. Because of an underlying health issue. Right here. Right? The underlying health issue was important because the work, I feel like, caused her a lot of stress, or this one individual caused her a lot of stress, it feels like, to me. And I'm also getting a man. Like I'm feeling like there's one significant man and one, or however many significant women. There's a very significant woman and a very significant man in her case. And a man caused her some type of stress in her private life. In her private life. That's very specific to say. A man caused her stress in her private life. I don't know if that's a partner or like a business partner that, a business partner that turned lover, or a lover that turned a business into a business partner. Vice versa. She could have been doing business with someone that she had fallen in love with. Vice versa. They fell in love with her. And some aspect of that was toxic. Because I feel like that individual was asking her for money. Because there's bankruptcy going on with that individual or her. And that individual ended up asking her for money. And they want to save themselves from bankruptcy. So what this looks like, the man or the woman that try to save themselves from bankruptcy, and having somebody may have exhausted their own discrepancy funds. This woman did, or a man did, in her private life, and is pulling me towards the team. And those individuals became a part of her team. She intentionally included them in her team, or they're separate. There's an element of them also being separate. And they gravitated into what she had going on with her team in order to get, that's why I was getting that idea of payback, in order to get some type of payback for themselves. And it's telling me this idea that it's very shady. Like when I hit that note, it's a very shady move that somebody made. It's a very shady move. It's a very shady move. And it's giving me this feeling that it took her a while to realize that it was. It took her a while to realize that. With the Chariot in the present. Right? And I picked up the Chariot because the fact that it took a while for her to realize, it could have been a situation where as soon as she realized it, she went to go travel to fix it. She tried to go travel to fix that. And something is also irretrievable. Like there was no way for her to retrieve something that was lost because of a man and or this woman or a document or money. Money may not have been good because somebody that she was intimately involved with, she involved in her business. Or they've always been involved in business together. It's just the mistake is, I'm also getting this feeling of the mistake is also linked to the fact that she gave them a copy of something that they should not have had a copy of. So it could have been insurance related. It could have been tax related. It's also linking me to something about shared custody. It's giving me this idea of custody, like that could have been related to her. See, I like D'Angelo, but it's kind of leaning me towards shared custody issue. Something happened with her in custody, or there's documentation and money and situations going on there with the custody of her child at the time when he was younger. I mean, he's older, but there could have been a custody battle that she was involved in when he was younger, and that some aspect of that bubbled up to the surface for some reason. Somebody kept a close eye on the money that she was making, the recent money that she was making, or someone hired somebody to keep a close eye on the money that she was making. Whether that was for, wait a minute here. I'm actually getting something really interesting right here. This is, wow. Okay. The moment I was talking about the custody, what I was getting, if it wasn't necessarily like custody with her son, there's also there's another child, like someone that she was dealing with had a child, had another child, and they were trying to use I don't know something that she had, they were trying to use for that child. I don't know if there's a lawsuit or something involved. I don't know if she was engaged in some type of lawsuit or engaged. Like, she could have been engaged to somebody else at some point, and that other person had a child, and something's going on with that person and that person's child. That's why I was getting that there was a man. I was leaning towards this energy of another man in her private life that had a daughter, or somebody's got a daughter or something that she was intimately involved with. Something is young about the daughter. That could be why the Princess of Cups is here. Daughter or son, something is young about them, and whoever, that's what I'm picking up on. I feel like I don't know if this is somebody that she dated, or is someone that she dated or that she was engaged to, and that person had children. That person is very quiet. It's not something, I don't feel like it's something that's widely known, but I feel like she could have been really private about that. Or she was taking care of a guy's daughter, or something that I feel like there's a young girl involved in her life. There's a young girl involved in her, not her son, could be her son, but there's a young girl, whether known or unknown, that is involved in her business. that she's kind of, the reason why the girl is there is because of somebody that she either was engaged to, wanted to be engaged to her, or someone that she was dating and they have a young child. And something's going on with something that's being left for that child. I don't know what, I don't know if D'Angelo had any other children. I don't know what's going on there. I don't feel that. I feel like this is a totally different man that she could have been dealing with, and they had a daughter, or someone she was dating, or somebody that she was planning to be intimately involved with. There's a little girl involved. I don't know. I'm leaning toward a little girl, a little boy. And the strength is right next to that Three of Cups. The strength is there. That's really... And something's going on with something that's left for that little girl. I don't know. It's... Something is interesting about that. And that could also be why a Queen of Swords is around. Or they were around. And this person, whoever that was, they watched her closely. Like someone that she intentionally had around her or not, they watched her closely. So, very interesting. This is like this is like planning to get engaged to someone that you either know or you don't know that they have a small child, or someone else that they were with had a small child, and that woman found a way to get involved with her business. I don't know. It sounds really interesting. Like that, the woman found, that could have been another interpretation. That woman, there's someone that she was dating. I keep saying it because I feel like it happened. Someone that she was intimately involved with. It doesn't have to be D'Angelo necessarily. Whoever she was intimately involved with, that person's life has a small child in it. That small child has another parent, and that parent found their way to get really involved with her business. And they could have, she may not have known who they were, and they could have presented themselves to her in a way to make, that's why I was getting that idea of a lie. They could have presented themselves to her in a way so that she would bring them into her team, bringing them into her business circle. That's one element of this. Like, I don't feel like I would lean towards that interpretation for no reason. I feel like something behind the scenes of that is really important to what is happening here. With a woman and a guy. The Five of Strife is in the mentality. So the Five of Strife, again, is in the mental space. And you have a Five of Strife, which, we're dealing with arguments. That is her energy. And we're dealing with the Princess of Cups in the instincts. So this could have been a situation where either vice versa, someone could have been coming in to apologize, and they may have been thinking, because I was earlier on in the reading, I was feeling a really heavy argumentative energy either coming from her or towards her, with the Five of Wands and the Princess of Cups, with her going towards someone to initiate her going towards someone to initiate an apology, or vice versa, someone coming towards her, and there are arguments that are taking place towards her or from her, and there's a disagreement because of what she's traveling and she's finding out. So what the traveling and the finding out and all of that is the child, the information, the lying about the IRS, the lying about an invoice, a scam, somebody doing something and they claim that they didn't intentionally do it, whatever it was. And that's where all that energy is coming from. And it's in her mental space. So she's thinking that's coming towards her. Both of these together. She's thinking it's coming towards her, or she's going towards that. That's what she was going towards that. Her mentality Her mentality was to argue with someone. That's what the travel in the present, and the five of wands in the mentality is about. The mentality is telling me to go and argue with somebody or somebody's. But my instinct is telling me to apologize. My instinct is telling me that there's a child, somebody's got a kid somewhere that is I didn't know about. Or it's an emotional offer coming towards. So the travel is go towards someone to initiate either one of these energies or both of them. Or both of them. It's a lot. This is it's very interesting what you find out, what people have going on behind the scenes. Excuse me. The Ace of Cups is changing. Here we go. Do I need to explain that? The Ace of Cups is changing. A relationship she was in is changing. Because of, boom, Queen of Swords, and finding out about something. And shadily, that happened really shadily around her. It happened really shadily. Something was also abruptly taking place. So the travel and the Ace of Cups changing and the Five of Wands and all of that, the tower next to them, that's just showing me that things happen very abruptly here. Things happen very abruptly. She probably didn't see something coming. Tower. She probably didn't see something coming. With the Ace of Cups changing and the tower next to the Queen of Swords and the Chariot with the cars and the traveling. She didn't see someone coming towards her. She didn't see something coming. All right. But the fact that this is changing, it's making me feel I'm getting a cheater and a liar. And that's what I was picking up earlier on. A cheater and a liar. Or both. A little bit of both. Someone that she was intimately involved in. I don't know if it's the business relationship. Or like I was saying before, there was an intimate relationship that she was involved in that it turned into business, or it was a business relationship. It turned intimate and it's changing because of what somebody did, or they shadily did, not intentionally or intentionally. And there's another interesting backstory to this where there's a child. There's a child involved. Somebody's child is involved in this. A known or unknown child that belongs to somebody. So the child belongs to someone that was watching her very closely. The child belongs to someone that was watching her very closely, okay? Or whoever. The Three of Swords is in the resolution, going towards the Hangman. So the Three of Swords is heartbreak, it's sorrow, it's sadness. The Three of Swords coincides with the Three of Cups, right? It's the Three of Swords and Three of Cups is sadness about and sorrow about what was revealed. Like, I feel like something was revealed to her about an executive. Something was revealed to her about an executive. This Queen of Sword energy, with whether I don't know if it feels like there's a white person on the card, but they don't have to be white. But a manager, something was revealed about them, something that they did, that they said, that they told her that they didn't make copies of. They made duplicate copies of something. They told her that the name of a spelling or something was wrong. That was a lie. It wasn't a lie. And then there's the Five of Wands. Is like now I need to go travel and deal with this situation. Then there's another situation of being in a relationship with somebody and they managed to contact her executive or her manager or someone. They managed to get in conversation with that person to get some type of I feel like she tried to keep her stuff very secure. She tried to keep a very important documentation secure, and somebody abused that idea that she was doing that. Somebody abused that, or they didn't take her seriously, And she's like, okay, well, you're not taking me seriously, then I'm going to go and terminate whatever it is that you just tried to do. Whatever it is you tried to get. It keeps telling me executive. And executive that she was dealing with. It's something about that person was wrong. And she got 3 of Cups. She got too comfortable with them. They were temporary. They could have been temporary, and they were only meant to be there for a certain amount of time. She got comfortable with them. She could have went out. She could have been drinking and partying with them, and they're doing really underhanded things, intentionally or they accidentally or whatever. I don't know if they try to apologize. Whatever the situation is, the Hangman is in the future. Sign of Pisces. Okay, you're the Hangman in the future, and the Hangman is like, what is going on here? The Hangman is truth. The Hangman is confusion. You know, the Hangman is a little bit of everything that is going on here. Accompanied with the 3 of Swords. You know, it's everything that and it managed to come to the surface at the last minute. It came to the surface at the last minute. All right, let me see what the Hangman. Let me do a clarification on the Hangman. Death. Scorpio. So I see double Scorpio here. Hangman has death, transformation, things come into light. You know, death card. Typically, when we see the death card, we're dealing with major change. We're dealing with major changes. We're dealing with things coming to the surface and major change. Okay. So there were some underlying health issues. Then there's a lying, cheating partner that she had. Then there's something weird going on with an executive. Then there's a child that's behind the scenes that no one knows about the child. I don't know. It seems like she probably didn't know about the child. There's a child. It's not her child. It's not her child. This is like a little girl or a boy. They're small. Like it's a small child that she did not know of or she knew of, and somebody was trying to do something there to help that child. It could have been her. I feel like it's something. The fact that I keep saying that, it feels like the child is really behind the scenes of this, of what is happening. That's her child, like her son, or it's another child that is involved here that belongs to somebody that she was with, or they belong. This energy of this executive, some woman. There's another woman here that I feel like I was getting the lion and cheating with the Ace of Cups changing, and then I see the Queen of Swords here, and I'm like, okay, well, if it's a lion cheating partner, business partner, love partner, they could have been with someone else, and they produced a child, and that child is involved in a life insurance policy. Child could have been involved in a life insurance policy of that is of her. That's of her. But somebody, that's what I'm leaning towards to say. That's what I'm kind of leaning towards to say. And the Queen of Swords is like, you know, they found their way into her world. I was getting that idea of a designer and somebody working for her, and people, you know, they're like, hi, I need this sign. Can you sign this? And she'd be like, why do you need that signed? Again, I just signed that for you. But it's like all these cards with the purple and everything in it. It's intuition. You know, like, what are you really doing? Are you trying to get money out of me? There's a kid that somebody's trying to get the money for, or whatever it was, or somebody has a relationship that they're in outside of her business, and they're trying to take care of that relationship or that child or that lifestyle. So there were some unintentional mistakes and intentional things happening here, and shadiness with somebody, a woman and a man, to be really specific, okay? A woman and a man. All right, let me do an outcome on this real quick. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 of Pentacles. So this was collaboration, and then 3 of Pentacles. 2, 3 has financial failure. Okay, so at one point, the 3 of Pentacles is you're collabing with others. It could be Earth sign energy. I don't see any Earth sign here. The only Earth is there that's Pentacles. But I see there was at one point there was collaboration, like healthy. You see the green, like the green is like growth and gain, and you're working collaboratively with people. And then all of a sudden, the 7 of failure is here. 7 of Pentacles is there, where there was some monetary gain, and then but there was also failure at the same time. But at the failure, the financial failure was more on her, and the gain was more on somebody else that has a child. Somebody that was on her team that has children, basically. Someone that was on her team that had a child. The child is important because I'm assuming maybe on social media they're not talking about this small child. They're not talking about like the way a child is getting fed is because of her. So either it's intentionally is her, like is she knowingly she's doing this, or unknowingly she is what is how a child is being taken care of, something that she had, knowingly or unknowingly. Because I keep leaning towards that, so it's important. But the financial loss is also, every time I say that I get an executive. So the financial loss is because of something that an executive did, or an executive concealed that they did, or that someone that they know that she was doing business with that they did. Something that they did, and that's what caused her financial loss as well. Let me do another outcome on the 7 of Pentacles. Yep. There you go. There's the Earth sign. Knight of Disc. So Taurus, Capricorn, business person, businessman, Earth, Knight. The Knight is coming in. The Knight is the one that is coming in to, there's an Earth sign energy that was coming in to reveal to her what is going on, or what may have been taking place with the Knight. And the executive energy, and what was going on with the executive. Person is very smart. This energy is very smart. They could have been a lawyer. They could have been a friend. They could be. They could be the embodiment. I don't feel like there's. I feel like there's someone separate. They could be the embodiment of a male that she was. That from the beginning I was getting a male friend. I feel like she had a male partner in her private life. There's a male friend I was picking up that they looked like they could have been a designer, someone that was wearing like leather. I don't know what the leather was about, like black leather, and like a black man. They could have been like a fluid black man that she really liked, that she was cool with. And you know what I'm getting? I'm getting this idea of my 2 cents. My 2 cents. I'm picking up that phrase. I'm gonna give you my 2 cents. Like, this is the energy that that's the energy that they were bringing towards her. I'm gonna sit down with you and give you my 2 cents on this situation. I'm gonna give you my 2 cents. And that's how I keep getting executive. They could be an executive, or they sat with her down and had a conversation about an executive, that a manager or something that she was dealing with. And either it feels like, you're having a conversation and someone's revealing everything to you, and then once they do, you're out. You're gonna go and deal with it. and it initiated a transformation the way it was handled with the Knight of Disc. The way it was handled. Wow. Interesting. They're a very interesting person. Whoever she talked to, it feels like whoever she talked to last, like whoever she conferred with, this year, whoever she was confirmed with, they're very interesting. Like I don't know, something, their aura, their energy was very interesting. But they sat her down and gave her their 2 cents into what was going on, and they were right. They were right. I'm also getting this idea of probable. I'm getting the phrase probable cause. Also, probable cause. So there's a probable cause going on. It sounds more like, yes, it's investigative. So you're dealing with terminology, criminal terminology. You're dealing with terms such as probable cause. They're, typically when we're discussing crime, and things that are taking place, in order to arrest someone, there needs to be a probable cause. So 3 of Swords coincide with Queen of Swords. Someone could get arrested. Someone could get arrested for a very strange issue, is what I'm picking up. Someone could get arrested for a very strange issue, if that makes any sense, okay? All right, so the strange issue is a child. The strange issue is a document. The strange issue is lying about a document. The strange issue is the fact that, they even sat her down to have a conversation about something that could have been a probable cause for an arrest, for a very strange conversation, a very strange point to examine, if that makes any sense. But it sparked a movement, really. It sparked a movement. Someone's also, I touched this and I was getting terminal. Here. She could have had a terminal illness. That's why the strength is in the spiritual self. Something was terminal that was going on with her. Something was terminal. It feels like heart failure too. Something was terminal that was going on with her. And heart failure is terminal. Okay? Alright, so that was Angie Stone. All these stresses, all these things going on here, it really got her into a very uncomfortable physical state. Alright? That was Angie Stone. If you have questions, comments, and or concerns about this case coverage, you know where to find me. Be well. Take care. Bye.